thinking back on a moment stuck in time. You used to be my lady.
I love being a musician. Music is a great art form to use to spread love, but most importantly, I think music is a great tool that can influence a lot of people, and if used correctly and used the right way, can really change the state of the world, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I became a musician. I started playing the piano at age 9. My father, who is a Baptist pastor, has a church in Detroit, Freedom Baptist Church, and I started playing there. I first was singing in the choir, and then I wanted to move up to learn how to play, so I asked my parents for lessons. And eventually, after bugging them so much, they got me lessons at the Art Center Music School in Detroit. When I was in high school is when I started writing songs. I was kind of shy about the stuff at first, and wasn't really that confident, but I started listening a lot, and listening and studying who the people I was listening to, and trying to figure out who they listened to, and trying to break the genealogy gap between what I liked and what came before them. So, and then when I was in high school is when I started leading my own bands and doing some arranging and composition work that got me a little bit of notoriety around the local area, and gave me the confidence to try to pursue this full time and as a college student. Growing up in Detroit, I drew a lot of my inspiration from Motown and gospel, of course, because my dad's a minister. So I grew up, with religious music, and then I got into deep Stevie Wonder stuff, like Music of My Mind, Talking Book, and those albums really captivated me from the songwriting aspect because of, everything Stevie Wonder writes is telling a story. It's not just virtuoso playing and arranging and producing, but every lyric tells a story of its own, and it's really unique.
This cut is called The Lowdown. Hope you can dig it.
The first big show I played in Chicago was a show called Biggest Mouth that's put on by the college. Last year we were lucky enough to win a spot in the final showcase, which was held at the Metro, which is a really huge music venue here in Chicago. It was really exhilarating. It was the first time I was ever on a really huge stage. The crowd was pretty huge, about 500 people, one of the biggest crowds I ever played in front of. And that kind of catapulted my experience of playing on a huge stage. And probably the biggest show I've played here in Chicago was at the Chicago Theater. Being at the Chicago Theater was just a high all of its own. And you go downstairs to where the dressing rooms are, and on all the walls are just so many hundreds of, maybe even thousands of signatures of just great artists, from Prince, Smokey Robinson. So many musicals, so many, bands and everything. So I got to be a part of that and be on that stage and do 5 shows there in a span of 2 days. And that was probably the most fun experience I've had performing.
Nights I spend crying rivers over you.
It's really tough, and it can be very discouraging because being young and in such a fast town like Chicago, it can be very intimidating because you meet such great acts, you meet such great performers, such great songwriters. To someone who's starting out, I would say just be humble, because we all have idols in the industry, like, oh, I want to be like so-and-so, oh, I want to play like so-and-so, but so-and-so's got it all figured out. But in reality, even the greatest artists we look up to, are constantly trying to innovate, constantly trying to find new ways and new things to do. So I would just say to someone starting out, just learn as much as you can, be humble, and just try to be a student of the music. Where you are today is, and can be better than where you were yesterday. So just try to make progression and don't so much worry about the end game because there's no plan B. It's just plan A continued.
Tell me what you want from me.